So welcome, lovely to see you all. I hope you've had a good week and are having a good weekend, enjoying the weekend. Nice to see the folks from outside of our area. Please feel free if you like to put in where you're joining us from. Susan from Pittsburgh and Linnea from Washington State, Spokane, and Kerry from Saskatoon, and see who else we have. So welcome everyone, and welcome to this Sunday morning class offered by the Insight Meditation Community of Washington, IMCW. I've been teaching with IMCW for almost 20 years now, and wonderful community formed by Tara Brach back 25 years ago. And the Center for Mindful Living, which is when we're together in person, is in the Tenleytown area of Northwest Washington, DC. So good to be with you. And yes, hope you're all keeping well. The theme of the talk today, or the theme for today, is gratitude, and it's an area that I love to practice and I love to explore and share, share reflections on, which I'll do today. I think what we'll do today is we'll tweak the format a bit, in that we'll begin with a short meditation, probably about 10 minutes or so, just to help us arrive and settle. And then we'll move into the talk on the theme of gratitude today. And then we'll come back, we'll come out of the talk into a slightly longer meditation. Maybe it'll be 15 minutes or so of a meditation. So that we'll explore that together today. And then we'll have some mindful movement led by Emily. Thank you, Emily, as always, for your wonderful teaching. And then we'll have some time for sharing. If the time allows, we'll have some small group sharing. And then we'll come together for a short final meditation and some announcements. So very simple, fairly straightforward format. And just welcoming everyone. See Sharon Shazzy's joined us. Good to have you with us. And Marina, Terry, Hisham, Miranda, Jen, Paul, good to see you. Good to see you, Julie, and Sean, and Claire and Dan in Lancaster, and Sarah, and Susan, Christine, Jerry, to have you all with us, and anyone I'm not mentioning. So let's do an arriving meditation, have an arriving meditation. I think we have Ursula there in Austria, right? Am I right? Or am I in Switzerland? Switzerland, that's right. You're here representing Europe today. Bob and Rob, Kerry, Jerry. So if you'd like to take a moment or two to arrive and settle, finding a posture that's comfortable, relaxed, where you can be alert and at the same time relaxed, aware of your experience. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Let your attention come inward and let your attention drop out of the thinking mode. Just feel the body, feel it, the contact with the with the chair or the cushion beneath you. You might bring your awareness to your breathing. Take a few longer, deeper breaths. Nice, long, deep in-breath. A long, slow out-breath. Breathing in, calming the body. Breathing out, calming the mind. Let your breathing help you arrive and settle. It's being here. Nowhere else to be, nothing else you need to do. Just be present with what's here for you right now. As Martha Postlethwaite says, do not try to save the whole world or do anything grandiose. Instead, create a clearing in the dense forest of your life and wait there patiently until the song that is yours alone to sing falls into your open, cupped hands and you recognize and greet it. Only then will you know how to give yourself to this world so worthy of rescue. You could think of this as this time as creating a space in the busyness, in the responsibilities of daily life, just creating a clearing. Just sitting with what's here, opening to the stillness, the silence, to whatever comes out of the silence, out of the mystery. So that we might go back into our lives, perhaps with more insight, more clarity, more kindness. You might invite a smile. Maybe thinking of a loved one or somebody who makes you feel happy when you think of them. Just letting yourself feel whatever comes up. Smile, helping us let go of any tightness or tension we might have. And putting a hand on the chest, on your heart, can also help you just connect with yourself, with your body, with your breathing. This moment without judgment. This moment in the heart space where everything that is welcome, as Dorothy Hunt says. You might take some moments to reflect on some things in your life that you feel grateful for. Maybe people in your life, loved ones, help support you, bring joy into your life. Good friends. Maybe supportive conditions, our home, perhaps some financial security, your health, bodily health, mental health, body that's carried you through your life. The beauty of nature, all the wonders, the sun and the wind, the stars. The animals and the trees. It's very easy to take things for granted and to fixate on what we lack, what we think we need, what we want. We can get tight around it and craving, sometimes not liking what we're experiencing. Coming back to gratitude can help us really appreciate what we have. The gift of the teachings and the practices. See if you can connect with the felt sense of gratitude in your life, whatever you feel grateful for. Say a silent thank you, silent bow of gratitude for these gifts you've been graced with. Share this reflection from Jack Cornfield on gratitude. His gratitude is a gracious acknowledgement of all that sustains us, a bow to our blessings, great and small, an appreciation of the moments of good fortune that sustain our life every day. We have so much to be grateful for. Gratitude is confidence in life itself. In it, we feel how the same force that pushes grass through cracks in the sidewalk invigorates our own life. Gratitude gladdens the heart. It's not sentimental, not jealous, not judgmental. Gratitude does not envy or compare. Gratitude receives in wonder the myriad offerings of the rain and the earth, the care that supports every single life. As gratitude grows, it gives rise to joy. We experience the courage to rejoice in our own good and the good fortune of others. Joy is natural to an open heart. In it, we're not afraid of pleasure. We don't mistakenly believe it is disloyal to the suffering of the world to honor the happiness we've been given. Like gratitude, joy gladdens the heart. We can be joyful for people we love, for moments of goodness, for sunlight and trees, and for the breath within our breast. And as our joy grows, we finally discover a happiness without cause, like an innocent child who does not have to do anything to be happy. We can rejoice in life itself, in being alive. We can rejoice in the difficult too. In Tibetan Buddhism, there's a prayer that the monks and the nuns chant each day in gratitude for the suffering they've been given. Grant that I might have enough suffering to awaken in me the deepest possible compassion and wisdom. So gratitude too for the difficult times and experiences that can also help free the heart. Mary Oliver, in her poem, The Uses of Sorrow, says, "Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to remember, to understand that this too was a gift. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift." So so again, welcome everyone. And I'm very grateful to be here with you today, having this time together, and a time to explore this theme of gratitude today. I didn't realize how happy it would make me feel to be talking about gratitude and to be reflecting on gratitude. And that's one of the gifts of gratitude, is that it really makes us happy when we reflect on gratitude. So today I want to focus on gratitude, on this quality, emotion, which is, I think, one of the most powerful practices for cultivating well-being and in helping us untangle ourselves from afflictive emotions and mind states, and connecting us with what we have, and with others, and with life, and with ourselves. I find the practice of gratitude to be a very, very beautiful and a very heart-opening one. So one of the first and most important things to say about gratitude, I think, is just what we mean by the attitude of thankfulness for what we've received. Robert Emmons, who's a leading researcher on gratitude, speaks of it as a felt sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life. Having a felt sense of wonder, thankfulness, and appreciation for life. And as I say, one of the most important things to say about gratitude is that it's strongly associated with happiness. Strongly associated with happiness. Grateful people tend to be happier people. it's not surprising if you think of, maybe you know somebody who you think of as kind of being grateful, counting their blessings. Think of that person, and do they tend to be happier maybe than somebody who's complaining a lot? Oh, things aren't right, I wish this were like this. We kind of intuit that, don't we, that gratitude is very tied to happiness. The more we incorporate gratitude into our lives, the more benefits we experience. And I want to begin just by talking about some of what I think of as the mundane benefits. And I don't mean that in a pejorative sense or a put down sense, because these are really important. But in the Buddhist sense, he didn't use these terms when talking about gratitude, as far as I know, but he talked about he used the term mundane, and sometimes obviously he didn't speak in English, but in English it's translated as mundane and super mundane. And mundane just means connected with the worldly, worldly benefits, and super mundane means connected with awakening, with freedom, freedom beyond, just the well-being that we can experience of, in everyday life. So I want to talk about both the kind of the everyday benefits of mindfulness and the deeper, you might call the deeper spiritual benefits. And so just highlighting what the scientific research on gratitude tells us about the benefits of gratitude. What do we get from cultivating gratitude? And here are just some, 8 or 9 or 10 benefits. Gratitude is linked to research on gratitude shows that cultivating gratitude leads to more alertness, more vigor, aliveness. It's linked to achieving our personal goals. It helps us cope better with stress. And the more grateful we are, the less stressed we tend to be. It's associated with stronger feelings of self-worth and self-confidence, with better relationships with others, social relationships, with better cardiac health, better heart health, with a greater sense of purpose and resilience in our life. Grateful people are lastingly less depressed and happier. But let me put it another way. Cultivating gratitude made people lastingly less depressed, happier than any other intervention in positive psychology. So gratitude was even more than compassion and mindfulness and other qualities. Cultivating gratitude led to less depression and more happiness than any other of these kind of positive qualities that we cultivate. People who experience gratitude can cope more effectively with everyday stress, can recover more quickly from illness, and enjoy more robust physical health. And they did some studies of people who kept a gratitude journal. People who kept a gratitude journal were 25% happier, slept more, half an hour more each night, and exercised 33% more than people who didn't keep a gratitude journal. So these were just some of the kind of physical and mental benefits of cultivating gratitude in this way through keeping a gratitude journal. So just highlighting those as some of the, if you like, everyday benefits, physical, mental health benefits of cultivating gratitude. A wonderful thing about gratitude is that it's always available to us. It simply requires us to remember to turn our attention inward and to reflect on what we have. So gratitude, we don't have to do anything more than just remember. It's just a practice of obviously is a great support for us in remembering. You know, mindfulness has in its definition in Pali the quality of remembering. Sati, S-A-T-I is the word for mindfulness in Pali, and it's linked to remembering, you know, memory and remembering. And so just remembering, all we need to do is just remember to be grateful, because a lot of the time we're lost in our thoughts. We're focused on what we lack, what we think we need, what we don't have. Oh, I wish I had this. Oh, I wish this was different. And we get pulled into these states. But all we need to do is just to notice, just remember, oh, okay, I can come back to what I have. And when I come back to what I have, all of these benefits are available. Well, the first thing we do when we reflect on gratitude is we neutralize negative and painful states we've been experiencing. We're choosing to pay attention to what we have. And when we're doing that, we can't also be caught up in anger or in judgment or blame or greed. You know, they can't, those states can't coexist at the same time. If I cultivate gratitude, it's going to be bumping those states out of the way. You know, if anger is present, it will be replacing anger with gratitude, etc. So the Tibetan prayer, grant that I might have enough suffering to awaken in me the deepest possible compassion and wisdom. So gratitude for our suffering. This is from M.J. Ryan, their book, Attitudes of Gratitude, her book. Gratitude is like a flashlight. It lights up what is already there. You don't necessarily have anything more or different, but suddenly you can actually see what is. And because you can see, you no longer take it for granted. So if anything, gratitude is a moving out of that taking for granted into a sense, a quality of appreciation for what we have. And it's extraordinarily powerful. Marty Seligman, who is one of the leading teachers and researchers in positive psychology, asked people who considered themselves severely depressed to write down 3 good things that happened for 15 days. Every day, 3 good things that happened to them. And 94% of them reported a decrease in depression, and 92% said their happiness had increased. 94% less depression, 92% more happiness. So we can look at some of these benefits that I've highlighted about better health, more energy, better relationships, more ability to achieve our goals. So some of the more of the mundane, our everyday benefits of cultivating gratitude. They're beneficial, but they won't in themselves lead to the deeper benefits of the teachings and practices, of the benefits of awakening, of freedom from suffering. But we can cultivate gratitude as part of the path of awakening. And gratitude, I believe, is extremely valuable in the two practices that I've talked about a lot, in the last year or two, the practices of abandoning the unskillful and cultivating the good. These are the two kind of broad areas of practice that the Buddha said, this is what will lead to awakening. If you abandon mind states that are unskillful, unwholesome, like blame, anger, judgment, harshness, greed, delusion, these will lead to unhappiness, they'll lead to suffering. So he says, abandon them. He says, if you couldn't abandon them, I wouldn't ask you to abandon them. If they didn't lead to happiness and well-being, I wouldn't ask you to abandon them. But because they lead to happiness and well-being, I say, abandon the unskillful, abandon these states. Don't fuel them. Don't throw fuel on the fire of these states, but let them burn themselves out. You don't need to get rid of them, just see them and let them go, but choose not to fuel them. But on the other hand, fuel, cultivate, nurture those states that lead to happiness and well-being, like compassion and loving kindness, like gratitude, like generosity, mindfulness, equanimity. All of these states lead to well-being. So cultivate them. I wouldn't ask you to do it if they didn't lead to happiness, the Buddha said. But because they lead to happiness and well-being, I say, cultivate the good. So gratitude is one of these states. It's a state that can help us counter greed by replacing thoughts of neediness and wanting, got to have this, need this, want this, with thoughts of gratitude. Just think of it. Think of right now, you might be thinking, oh, I wish I had, something. I wish I had a nice cup of tea or coffee right now, or, whatever. It may be a very mundane need that the mind kind of fixates on it, but then choose to just shift out of that and say, okay, what do I have right now? Come back to the body and the breath and be grateful for loved ones, be grateful for these practices, and just shift out of that mind state into gratitude. Similarly with thoughts of aversion, oh, I don't like this, oh, this person is so boring, or I'm not really interested in this. Shift out of that and appreciate what you have. Just I'm grateful for hearing the birds singing, grateful that I have this body and mind. As Leonard Cohen said late in his life, putting his, the last things in his life together, he said, I'm really glad that I've kept my marbles. I'm really glad that he kept his marbles till he died at the age, I think, of 82, but he still had his marbles. Hopefully we can keep our marbles. And if we don't, then we can be grateful for what we've have and have had. We can replace thoughts of stress and worry with gratitude. Just choosing, like, rather than focusing on, oh, I got all this to do, I'm never going to be able to do it, oh, I'm just so stressed. You can step out of that and just say, okay, just grateful right now to have this practice that allows me to step out of stress and worry. Choose that. I can choose gratitude. Choose whatever I can be grateful for. Just this moment, just being able to put my hand on my heart, on my belly, and appreciate this moment. Forget about, don't fuel worries about tomorrow, but choose to come back, just to be here. Thoughts of distraction, escaping. Again, we can come back to gratitude. Come back to gratitude for this moment, to be able to come back. So when we practice gratitude, one of the things, what we're doing is we're taking refuge in the truth. because we're not caught up with what's wrong or what shouldn't be happening. We're coming back to what's true right now. So when we're cultivating gratitude, we're not kind of glossing over anything that might be wrong. We're not pretending things are great when they're not. If things aren't going well in a particular area, we can even be grateful for that. We can be grateful that we have this challenging situation that maybe is helping us wake up. So even if we can be grateful for the difficulties, for the suffering, we're coming back to the truth. We're saying, what is true right now? What am I experiencing? And can I be grateful for this? We're looking at life as it is, and we're really celebrating what we have. We can see it as gratitude as a practice of renunciation. It's not so much we're letting go of anything particular, but we're really letting go. We're letting go of the wanting or of the craving or of the stressing. We're saying, I don't need to cultivate that. I can take refuge in what I have. In an important teaching of the Buddha on his own path to awakening, Siddhartha's path to awakening and becoming the Buddha, he spoke about a key insight on his path. And he said, I could see I had two kinds of thought. There was one kind of thought led to suffering, led to unhappiness, led to suffering. The other kind of thought led to happiness and to freedom. And that in abandoning the unskillful thoughts that lead to freedom, that led to suffering, and cultivating the skillful ones, he saw that his mind became calm when he didn't fuel the thoughts that led to anger or judgment or craving or greed, but could let go of those and cultivate those thoughts that led to happiness. Thoughts of generosity, thoughts of compassion and loving kindness. His mind became calm. The mind became calm. It became more joyful. He gladdened his mind. And as the mind became calm, settled, untroubled, it became conducive to awakening. And he was able to experience deeper states of well-being and happiness. And out of those states came insight into the Four Noble Truths, insights into the emptiness of all phenomena. And he said, bhikkhus, monks, nuns, practitioners, all of us, whatever a bhikkhu, whatever a practitioner frequently thinks about and ponders on, this will become the inclination of their mind. So whatever we frequently think about and ponder on, this will become the inclination of our mind. So if we frequently ponder on and think about angry thoughts, blaming thoughts, greedy thoughts, deluded thoughts, this will become the quality of our mind. But if we frequently think about kindness, gratitude, generosity, compassion, this will become the inclination of our mind. So again, it's very much that choice. What are we going to think about a lot? What are we going to cultivate in meditation? And to choose to cultivate those states that lead to happiness and well-being, rather than those that lead to unhappiness and to suffering. And in cultivating the good, I think one of the most important and valuable practices we can cultivate is this practice of gratitude, making gratitude into a habit. It won't be all that useful if we only occasionally reflect on gratitude. If we do it once a month or once every couple of months, it'll it'll be the same as doing anything else that's healthy that we only do on a very occasional. You know, if we go to the gym twice a year, probably not going to, you know, do us a whole lot of good. You know, maybe on the margins, it might do us some good. But if we go regularly, if we go twice a week, I'm still pushing to get up to twice a week. I'm at once a week, but that's better than nothing. And so cultivating, making it a habit, making anything a habit can be a huge source of support to us. So making gratitude into a habit can support our well-being and happiness, and can support us on path to awakening, to freedom from suffering. A great Christian mystic, Meister Eckhart, said, if the only prayer you say in your whole life is thank you, that would suffice. If the only prayer you say in your whole life is thank you, that would suffice. And Lao Tzu said, he or she who knows enough is enough will always have enough. Those who know enough is enough will always have enough. And Dr. Vincent Ryan said, the secret to life is to know when enough is enough. And Einstein famously said, or at least was attributed to him, he said, there are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. So to treat everything in our life as a miracle, how could we not be happy? How could we not be joyful if we treat everything in our life as a miracle? And it is a miracle. I mean, how did we come to be here in these forms? We didn't choose it, at least in any, you know, conscious way. And yet we have this life, and everything has been given to us. You know, it's not as though we did anything, you know, to deserve, you know, the air we breathe, and, you know, the trees and the flowers and the animals. They're really a gift from the universe. And we can be grateful. You know, in a way, all that's being asked of us is to appreciate what we have, you know, what we so easily take for granted. So I think of this practice as gratitude, and I think of gratitude as the fifth Brahma Vihara, the fifth of the Brahma Viharas. You know, the Brahma Viharas, these divine abodes, these beautiful qualities that Buddha taught of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. I think of gratitude as being very, very similar in many ways to these Brahma Viharas, like the fifth beetle, you know, the fifth Brahma Vihara. I mean, it's not one of the original four, but I think for me, it really qualifies, you know, because it enhances, you know, it opens the heart and the mind and helps us cultivate happiness and joy and well-being in extraordinary ways that I think it qualifies as a Brahma Vihara, as a beautiful state of heart and mind. And of the four original Brahma Viharas, the Buddha said we should always live in one or more of these qualities. And I would add one or more of these qualities in gratitude as well. And I would encourage us, and I'm sure many of you have a regular practice of gratitude, but if you don't, I would encourage you to cultivate it, to practice gratitude on a daily basis, because it's through the daily practice, through the habit of gratitude, that it really becomes part of our consciousness. It helps us remember to come back, remember what we have to be grateful for. As I was thinking about this talk and this class today, you know, I became more and more enthusiastic about gratitude. And I thought, I want to teach a course on gratitude. You know, I think there's so many benefits can be gained from cultivating gratitude, that I think, you know, and there's so many great practices out there to help us cultivate gratitude. And I think doing it together can be a great source of support for us as well. So I think I'll leave the formal talk there for today and invite us to, we'll just do a meditation before we go into movement. We'll do a short kind of bookend of the meditation of reflecting on gratitude. So again, just letting the attention come inward, finding a comfortable posture again, letting the eyes close, dropping out of the thinking mode, dropping down into the body. Let your attention come to those in your life, individuals in your life that you feel grateful for, loved ones, family members, parents, or children, maybe our grandparents, our ancestors, those whose lives helped, allowed us to be here. Just take in whoever comes into your mind, into your heart. You might see an image of them come. Just a smile and thank you to them. And for me, as I've shared often, my mother often comes to mind. She died 3 years ago. There's so much gratitude to her for her life. And our loved ones, our siblings, our good friends, dear friends. And just let yourself connect with the felt sense, any feelings that come up in the body, just appreciating them, feeling them. If you like, you know, inviting them to spread through the body. Just taking in the felt sense of gratitude. You might take in any feelings of gratitude to your own body that's carried you, supported you through this life, with all of the senses, the seeing. It's allowed you to see everything around you, beauty of nature, to see people and things you love, to see both the joys and the sorrows of life. And the hearing, our hearing, ability to hear the sound of voices, of music, birds, cicadas. In our sense of smell, smelling flowers and freshly baked bread, the pleasant and the unpleasant. And our taste the sweet and the savory, the tangy, all the different tastes and the feelings, the contact with the hand with your body, touching your body, touching another, the emotions. Allow us to feel joy, sadness, anger, wonder, gratitude. And our mind, our ability to think and plan and remember, understand, explore, investigate. Appreciating this mind, this heart, this body. All of the wonders of nature, the earth, the air we breathe, all of the creatures that fly and walk, crawl and swim, and the plants and the trees. Just taking in whatever feelings of appreciation and gratitude come up for you. Could say a silent thank you. And all the beings who support our life. And we've maybe been made more conscious in this time of the pandemic, of all those who grow our food and transport it, sell it, those who drive the buses and the trains and the airplanes. Those who work in government to keep services going, and those who report, keep us informed on what's happening. And the nurses and the doctors and the healthcare staff, helping keep people alive and well. So many others, this Indra's web, a web of connection with all of life. It's taking in any feelings of appreciation, gratitude, taking in any gratitude for these teachings of awakening, the Buddhist tradition and all of the other wisdom traditions have passed on their teachings for thousands of years. You might bring to mind your own teacher or teachers, those who've helped you to open your heart, awaken your mind. Be down through the ages, down through the centuries. Be just a quiet thank you, bow of appreciation. The community, the Sangha, Buddha said all of spiritual life is community. Feel us all connected together with each other, supporting each other on this path of awakening, of freedom of the heart. Just in these final few minutes of this reflection, this meditation, just let your heart, your mind, your imagination go to wherever it goes. Connect with feelings of gratitude for what you've been given. The feast says, one regret, dear world, that I am determined not to have when I am lying on my deathbed is that I did not kiss you enough. One regret, dear world, that I'm determined not to have when I'm lying on my deathbed is that I did not kiss you enough. Finishing with this from Mary Oliver, when I am among the trees. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I'm so distant from the hope of myself in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, stay a while. The light flows from their branches and they call again. It's simple, they say, and you too have come into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine. It's simple, they say, and you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine. Thank you for your practice and your kind attention. And Emily will now lead us in some movement.
Let me invite you all to stand up, and we'll start with appreciation for our arms opening up to expand to the sky and the moon and the sun and all the atmosphere, and bring it into our hearts. And then gather the energy of this community, all of us together, moving and being in practice, and bring that to our hearts. And then gather the energy of the earth and all that lives upon it. Gather it and raise it up to your heart. And then expand your arms out, greeting everything. And lifting your arms up, grasp your left wrist in your right hand. Inhale, extend out towards the right and gently tilt over. Just allowing this to be your expression, your appreciation of that left side. Inhale up, switching wrists, and expand that right side, tilting over to the left, breathing into the right rib cage, exhaling, and then lift up and allow your arms to float down and move your shoulders individually. And move them the other way. And now bring your arms into cactus arms, appreciating our shoulders. Exhale, drop the arms. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, dropping down. Expand your arms out and then sway from side to side. The twist. You can go at shoulder height for a moment and then move it down to your pelvis, to your hips, energizing the different areas of your back, expanding the space in your spine. And then bring it out wide again. Float your arms down and move your shoulders together, appreciating them. And move them the other way. Now come to center, and we're going to move into a flat back. So notice where your hip and your legs connect. You can even put your hands there to see, and then place your hands above your knees, extending out with a flat back, and just lower down, feeling the pull of gravity, appreciating that. Allowing the traction that comes, the back of the neck lengthening, different parts of your spine lengthening. A big inhale in, exhale with a sigh. And then draw your hands above your knees, press on your feet, soften your knees, and rise up. And once more, bring your hands to heart center. And release to the sky. Release to all of us. And to the earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. That was lovely, lovely as always. And let's take a couple of minutes to see if there are any questions, anything anyone would like to share about gratitude or about anything today. Please feel free to raise your hand or raise and indicate in the icons. Peter?
Okay. Yeah.
You're still muted, Peter. Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Hugh, for not only today's talk on gratitude, but one last week on letting go, which have been very powerful for me. It so happens that in the last 4 months of my life, I've gone through the most difficult challenges of my entire life. And I didn't know how I was going to get through it all. I mean, the stress, I was way off the top of the stress charts in every aspect of my life. And I realized I needed, having moved here from Hawaii, needed to find community. And my friends Tara Brock and Jonathan Faust said, oh, well, Center for Mindful Living. And so I've become a part of this wonderful Sangha, and it's been really a beautiful anchor through this, and I'm so grateful for that. And with the practices, I mean, I was really worried I was going to spiral into a really deep depression with all that's been happening. But with the practices, this sense of gratitude has been emerging. And I find myself, even in my beautiful apartment here, yes, thank you, thank you. Go to the woods, it's thank you, thank you. Or meet someone passing on the street who smiles, it's thank you. And yeah, so I'm just thrilled that of what's emerging through what could potentially have been a disaster. And I've met some wonderful friends, some of them who are here on this today. So thank you, Hugh, for your talks and being here for all of us.
Thank
and
you.
everyone else too.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear that, and really, really good to hear it. Not surprising, because it's a lovely community, and there's so much kindness, there's so much generosity, there's so much welcoming, and I'm glad that you've experienced that. And yeah, I just find it as well that if I can step out of the stories of the mind of, often it's, for me, it's too much to do is a story. It doesn't tend to be other kinds of aversion so often, but when I get in there, I'm in a tight place, and I kind of forget what there is to appreciate, and how much is available, and how much there is to be thankful for. So I find it a great gift to be able to come back to gratitude. I mean, I'm very grateful for gratitude, as a practice. And I really do think, we should apply to the Buddhist authorities and ask for it to be named as the fifth Brahma Vihara. I'm jesting, but I really, it really has a power to it. I don't know, anyone else like to share your experience of gratitude or challenges gratitude?
I saw Rachel and then Bob.
Rachel and Bob. Go ahead, Rachel.
Sure. I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but I feel like with gratitude, I kind of bounce between the two extremes. If I'm complaining about something, I can sort of stop myself and think, well, this isn't really a big deal, and I have all these things to be grateful for, and I can sort of flip something that I was thinking of as a negative into a positive. But then when there's something that's really great that's happening in my life, I automatically kind of think of the other side and all the people who don't have these things, and then I sort of feel guilty for the things that I should be grateful for. So I'm always like flip-flopping back and forth between two extremes.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that I think can be a really good practice to see if, can you hold the gratitude without, with being aware of when it flips into, I shouldn't have this, or feeling guilty, or, other people don't have it, to just be aware of that. Yeah, and just see if that's possible to do it, because you might think, well, is it helpful to to have gratitude, which is, I think, is an overwhelmingly wholesome quality of heart and mind, squeezed by the comparing mind, for example. It doesn't mean that we dismiss in any way the suffering of others, but can we hold, at the same time, be grateful for what we have, and hold the suffering, and perhaps out of the gratitude may come, what is it I can do? May come compassion. What is it that I can do about those who are in a not in as favorable a situation as I'm in? But I think that can be a good area of exploration, an area of practice. I was thinking yesterday, I was thinking about talking about gratitude. The other week, I talked about the the near enemies of loving kindness and compassion, the things that kind of, the qualities that kind of look like them but are not them, like attachment is a near enemy of loving kindness, and pity is a near enemy of compassion. You know, it has separation in it. And indifference is a near enemy of equanimity. It's not real equanimity. And I wondered what would be the near enemy of gratitude. The far enemy of gratitude obviously would be ingratitude. You know, I'm not grateful, I had nothing to be grateful for. But the near enemy, I thought, was entitlement. You know, entitlement has that quality of, yes, I have this, but it's my right. You know, I deserve this. You know, and out of entitlement comes a sense of privilege, you know. So that's not real gratitude. We're not really appreciating what we have. We're thinking that it's all about what I did, you know, and I deserve it, etc. And anyway, I was just thinking about that concept of the near enemy. But when gratitude is genuine and wholesome, then it doesn't, like loving kindness, it doesn't have afflictive qualities. It doesn't have, you know, comparison or better than or worse than. It's just a wholesome quality in itself, which can allow other wholesome qualities to be there as well. You know, joy and sorrow and all of that. But I think all of this is good grist for the mill and good, you know, a good place for practice. Rachel, thank you for your sharing. I think it's very helpful. And Bob, over to you in Lewis, Delaware.
Thank you, Hugh, visiting here. Thank you for your talk, and it spurred a really good discussion with Diane and Mimi in my group that I found very revealing. We were all talking about the difficulty, the human difficulty with actually embracing pain and suffering in order to get to compassion. You know, that's kind of like the master course in awakening. And it's a very, very hard thing to do. But I also loved your Mary Oliver poem. Of course, I love all the poetry, and especially Mary Oliver, but where not just that she said that it took her, she got this box of darkness and it took her years to realize that was a gift. So as I was relating to it, it's a lot to ask of ourselves to embrace the suffering and feel gratitude at that moment. But I think it feels more doable. And then to realize and be kind to ourselves that if we look back in the way that Mary Oliver is describing, we can feel that and we can see the moments. And then somebody brought up just what was brought up here earlier about, you know, the gratitude of this Sangha, which really, we have people from all over the world now, you know, and a lot of that came out of the COVID conditions. And it's okay to feel that while also feeling great compassion, sadness for the impacts that is had. But anyway, it was a great sharing. And I thought that idea of let's not be too hard on ourselves, but strive toward understanding even hard things can be good and give us compassion, but give ourselves time to do that. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you for that. And we'll have Linnea and then we'll finish with a short meditation. Thank you.
In the theme of being happy for suffering or being grateful for suffering, when difficult things come up, I mean, it's taken me 20, 30, 35 years to get to this point. I now look at it as causes and conditions have arisen. My karma has arisen. I am so grateful that it has risen now because I have the tools to work with it, not create any more negative karma, to use this to change my mind, to be able to prepare for a wonderful death and a wonderful rebirth. And it is happening inside. And I've been working on this for years, and it really does make a difference to be happy, or I do have gratitude when difficult things come up. Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Linnea. Yeah, just appreciating that. And I think, yeah, what both you and Bob shared, you know, that the kind of the looking back on our own journeys and seeing, you know, how we've come to be where we are and who we are today, and that our difficulties played a really big role in it. You know, I mean, I think, you know, most of us wouldn't be here if there wasn't some suffering that we wanted to work with, you know, and that you know, that Tibetan prayer of, you know, give me enough suffering that it can awaken my heart to compassion, you know. And as Bob said, you know, at the time we're not, yeah, bring it on, you know, that's not so much what we're doing, but we can see how we get changed by it, by being willing to be with our experience. So yeah, thank you all for sharing today. And we just have maybe just 5 minutes of meditation together to finish up. So again, just finding a posture that's comfortable and relaxed. Close your eyes if that feels okay for you. Just letting yourself settle again. Relaxing the shoulders. Maybe taking a deeper breath or two. You're feeling us all here together. It's appreciating everything that everybody brings, you know, the heartfulness, the caring, the compassion that bring to this community. Feeling ourselves here together. Sensing this field of loving kindness holding us together. Feeling grateful for each person. The gifts that everyone brings. The compassion, the wisdom, caring. As you breathe in, you might invite a wish of kindness to yourself. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be held in loving kindness. May I live with ease and with kindness. And breathing out a wish of kindness, of compassion, of care to everyone here. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be held in loving kindness, filled with loving kindness. May you live with ease and with kindness. This from Raymond Carver, late fragment. And did you get what you wanted from this life? Even so, I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved on the earth. Did you get what you wanted from this life? Even so, I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved, to feel myself beloved on the earth. Letting our wishes of loving kindness go outward into the world amidst all of the suffering and all of the joys. May all beings be safe and happy, free from suffering. May all awaken to their true nature, their true goodness. Thank you, everyone. Finish with some announcements. I'll just share a couple and hand it over to Margaret. I am offering an 8-week course on the Noble Eightfold Path beginning tomorrow. There's still some space. It's online, 8 Mondays beginning tomorrow, September 20th to November 8th. And we'll share it here and it'll be on the IMCW website. So if you're not signed up or would like to, please feel free to sign up for that. And there's, as I think probably everyone knows, there's no cost, no charge for this class, no set fee. But if you feel inclined and able to do so, you're invited to give dana or generosity, the way the teachings have come down through 2,500 years. We continue this practice of generosity. So thank you for your support.